Now, for the good news, because of block exemption, you, the independent workshop, has the right to have access to all OEM information, diagnostic data, diagnostic tools, and training. This has cost the OEM millions to develop, but all has obviously at a cost, but not as much as you think, typically about €11 an hour. Most OEMs offer pay per document or pay per hour. In other words, you have the right to compete directly with your local main dealer, so why not embrace the challenge? So this is what we're saying here. You've got the rights to do this, and it's not very expensive compared to what they've had to spend on it. And because of MBVR block exemption, they've basically been forced to give you this for, yes, a small fee, but you're able to have this. Okay. So next we're asking you to think about your business, and I've put here, sounds like a job interview. Where do you want to be and what vehicles do you want to fix in the next 5 years? Now, I've talked to several other businesses about this who do training and business training, and they're on the same page as this. So next, explore what path gives you best possible return on investments. So for example, if you're fixing old cars and you're not making any money, don't fix old cars because you won't make any money. Fix something that's locally. If you had a Jaguar Land Rover technician in your workshop, why is he not fixing Jaguar Land Rovers, and why haven't you not given them the right tooling, etc., etc.? This is all stuff that we do with businesses, and this is the stuff that the RMI, IWF, and everybody else are involved with, as well as trying to get businesses up to speed. Plus the IMI, which we're members of as well. It's all about trying to pull you forward for the future. Finally, start to plan training, tooling, and vehicle coverage for the next 5 to 10 years. So what this means again is, for example, we've bought EVs. We bought EVs here in hybrid cars because we are playing with them, because we need to get to know them. Not only that, staff and us are driving them because we want to feel what they're like to drive and see what they're like to live on a daily basis, how the battery goes down, that sort of stuff. And I know it sounds completely and utterly nuts, but that's how you get ahead of the game in this world. And I'm a massive petrol head, so that's what we have to do. So we've put together a few hints and stuff we've picked up dealing with the workshops, big and small, over the last 25 years. So I'm going to start on a few of these.
It's all obvious stuff, as we've said.
Yeah, it's all really, really obvious. And if you talk to us, you can always call us. You can put comments at the end of the webinars and stuff like that. Really have a chat to our team, or have a chat to me and Dave, because we've been doing it a very long time, quite old. And and we've got a lot of experts that deal with on the business side as well that you can speak to. Not in our business, but in other businesses as well. People who give business training and other things like that. So I'm going to start off with this. So Dave, off you go, mate.
The business planning and strategies. So you need to make sure that you charge for everything. As soon as the diagnostic tool is picked up and plugged in, start the clock.
And we have written a separate blog about this that we're going to put out there eventually. We're just doing a few bits on it. So
yeah,
some hints and tips and things like that for how to do this, because it does start at the very beginning of when the car's been checked in and managing the customer's expectations and that sort of thing. So that's an entire separate thing to talk about, really. But just start to charge, boys and girls. That's the basic answer.
Also, don't bury your head about change. Hybrid, EV, advanced driver assistance systems, digital diagnostics, they're already here. They're already in the independent aftermarket workshops. These vehicles, the Nissan Leaf vehicle, electric vehicle, has been around now for a long time. It's
2010, 11, wasn't it? It came out
2010. It's not EV. It's not new. The vehicles have been around for 10 years now. These vehicles must still need servicing, repairing, and visiting independent aftermarket workshops. A 10-year-old Nissan Leaf, I don't think there are many customers that really, really want to be taking that vehicle back to their main agent, main dealer. I really think they want to find a really reliable aftermarket workshop.
And you've got loads and loads and loads of what my missus has got, which is an old Mitsubishi Piat, which used to be your company car.
Yeah,
so we've had them for years.
The Mitsubishi, that's a great
loads
little
of those
vehicle.
about, tons of those.
So start reading articles, about battery electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, and get out there, drive them yourself, see what they're about, see how they work. I remember my first, going back to the Mitsubishi, it had paddles on the steering wheel. Why would you want paddles on a steering wheel for an electric vehicle that has no gears? Understand them. It's for the regenerative braking side. See how it works, see what effects it has. Yes, it means changing the brake pads isn't as frequent, so you're not going to be seeing these vehicles in your workshop on a really regular basis unless they develop an actual real issue and problem.
We're already getting a load of faults with them. We've got a Leaf that we've got in here for experimentation that's got a charging fault at the moment that we're looking at. You're going to start working on these, and the next generation as well. We've got Teslas out there with faults now, which we know about. We know a couple of guys who are doing roaring trade in Teslas.
Yeah.
In repairs.
Next point, really, really simple one. Look at what cars that you most repaired during the last few years. You need to then think about specialisation, or even cutting down to 5 or 6 key brands. We're seeing customers now that are becoming German vehicle specialists, that are looking after BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Audi. We're seeing some French car specialists who are now focusing Citroën, Peugeot, Renault. Again with what's happened there with the Stellantis group, who have now adopted the Fiat and the Vauxhall brands. So again, you possibly look at focusing on the Stellantis architecture group of vehicles: Fiat, Alfa, Citroën, Peugeot, Vauxhall. As a group, try to look for some form of think about the specialisation in those areas. Outside the box. I'm sure there's probably 5, or if you looked at your previous work that you've done over the last 12 months, I'm sure you'll see a trend and a pattern in the vehicle manufacturers that are coming into your workshop. So by cutting down to 5 or 6, I don't think really it'll have a huge, massive impact by not servicing those other 2 or 3 vehicle manufacturers. I don't think it'll be as huge a part of your business as you may think.
Plus, you can train your focus staff on then, rather than have all your staff trained.
And the customers of those vehicle manufacturers, customers of those vehicle brands will find you. The word will get out there. You'll become the go-to man, the specialist in that particular vehicle manufacturer in your area. Invest in the tooling, invest in the training, invest in get as much information as you can, understand the vehicles, and the work will find you. Even from local garages that have decided to specialise in other vehicle brands, work together in smaller little groups to compete against the main dealers, the main agents. You'll still be cheaper than the main dealers, and more importantly, you'll still be able to repair them far quicker and get them into your workshop quicker than the dealers can.
So the next one is really important, which is starting to invest now. We've got a lot of people out there who we speak to who might ring up for an OE tool, and they just kind of go, no, it's too expensive, or I can't do this, or I don't want to retrain, or and they just want to bury their head, and they just go on, they buy the latest whatever aftermarket tool, and then they have a guy coming round to do their programming, which is pretty common, and then they have this and that and the other, and they have to take it to the main dealer, and it costs them a fortune, blah blah blah. So really what I'm saying is just build up your knowledge bases, get some training, start the processes, and in 5 years time it'll be forced. Unfortunately, this is what we're going to see, where the tech with the aftermarket is not going to keep up. Unfortunately, we already know this. This is why we're trying to encourage people to look into that side of the market.
You don't need to invest a small fortune. You don't need to go out and buy every single piece of dealer diagnostic tool. It is so expensive, but more beneficial of that is if you bought one of each tool anyway, it's the knowledge and the training. It's that you need in order to operate the tool that's going to make the tool give you that return on investment that you're making. So by making those smaller one-off purchases infrequently, one a year, something like that, that gives you that to build on, rather than going out and spending and buying 10 bits of kit and trying to get to learn all 10.
Okay. Right, we're going to talk about technical support and data here. So we're massively involved with technical support and have been for quite a while. Through partners schemes that we have, we look after quite a lot of key account customers as well, people like ZF and Thatcham and lots of other bigger workshops. So we provide a lot of vehicle technical support in the market. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we think that you should do. Not talking about us now, not talking about OEM, but use real OEM technical data systems. So there are other technical data systems available. I'm not going to mention too many names on this, but there are a couple that are very, very, very good on the market, which use genuine OE data. They're not the easiest to use, I've got to say, but they're the best because you've got the verified fixes in there. And as we put in here, increasing number of faults can be fixed by software updates. They can stop you chasing a known fault for days. This has become really, really, really apparent over the past 3 or 4 years that, you know, we've had ZF transmission specialists, for example, which we're now dealing with, and they've stripped entire gearboxes, they put them all back together, can't find a fault with them, and then lo and behold, there's a technical service bulletin that says simply update the software in this module, and it's done.
What we can definitely advocate really is, and again, is how important electrical wiring diagrams are. The use of a genuine, proper OEM supplied electrical wiring diagram, it's worth its weight in gold compared to an aftermarket possibly might not be right for this vehicle wiring diagram. It'll save you so much time, even if it just pinpoints the right colours of the wires and where they end up going to and from. Saves so much time in the actual diagnostic process.
So next one on here, which is one of my favourites, if it'll do it. Never Google faults. It's possibly the worst thing you can do. Inevitably end up getting tied up in knots with opinions, not verified solutions. It's the modern version of a man down the pub says, and we see this all the time. In technical support, I've just Googled it and it says this. Well, actually, sir, we have the vehicle technical service bulletin in front of us, which is telling you completely the opposite thing. And funnily enough, when he tries that, it works. So it is the curse. And I've got to admit, everybody does it. I do it. Everybody does it. We go, oh, let's have a quick look and go. And you end up with 15 opinions and just don't bother because it's a waste of your time. Just use the correct data system and you'll find it straight away. As Dave was just alluding to, it can lead you up the garden path with the wrong diagram for the wrong vehicle because it could be out of date. It's not quite the right year. By the chassis number they changed it. It's really not a great idea to Google faults. Okay, subscribing to a vehicle tech support service. Now, this gets very, very interesting as you get, as we were alluding to, the main dealers also have access to VTS, the vehicle tech support services. I deal with quite a few people who work in main dealers, and we do talk quite a lot. And in fact, one of them is my brother-in-law, so we have a lot of chats about this. And basically, they're forever speaking to a technical support service about a problem with a vehicle. So what we're saying here is really for the cost. So you're talking probably £100 a month to create a load of tickets and have a second set of eyes looking on a job. It's cheaper than employing your own group of master techs. And you let them get on with it and you'll still carry on earning money while someone's looking at the problem. So to me, it's always been a bit of a no-brainer. Coming from the background that we come from, Dave, it's pretty straightforward. You have someone else there, which you ring up or you create a ticket for. We've a problem with the vehicle. They can tell you what the known fixes are and all the other bits while you're having a cup of tea and doing the next job.
Yeah,
so
the modern equivalent of calling out an auto electrician.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. The guys that use vehicle tech support systems generally are the top 10% of the garages in the UK. They make a living from this and they know that it's completely cost effective. So, you know, it's foolhardy to say, oh, I'm not spending £100 a month or whatever, when actually, what's your hourly rate? You know, this is where it comes down to it. And so from ones who deal with the top 10% of the really good garages in the country, yeah, that's what they all do. Okay.